Good morning and welcome to BOTB HQ in Parsons Green, South West London. My name is Christian Williams, the presenter here at BOTB, and we're here this morning to judge the latest Dream Car competition, which ran from the 7th to the 13th of September 2020. And just before I hand over to Charlie, our lawyer this morning, once again, massive congratulations to last week's winner of the Dream Car competition, Guy Molyneux, winning that incredible urban discovery that we have in the BOTB Dream Car lineup, plus, of course, £20,000. I'd now like to pass over to Charlie Hanson from Onside Law, who will oversee the proceedings this morning.
My name's Charlie Hanson from Onside Law, and I'll be overseeing the judging this morning. Firstly, I can confirm that the competition data has already been sent to the auditing company Assets. I would now like today's judges to introduce themselves and, using the secure link provided, mark on the screen where they think the centre of the ball should be. Then at the end, each judge will justify their position, and the group will then come to a final panel decision.
Good morning, my name is Matt Cannon. I'm a senior county referee and footballer, and I last played on Saturday.
Good morning, my name's Hugh Gilroy. I'm a referee, mentor, tutor and observer.
Good morning, my name's Andy Braithwaite. I'm a football referee, mentor and licensed observer.
Hi, my name is Kieran Fitzgibbon. I've played football for more than 30 years and am now a senior county referee.
Good morning, my name is Alain Goma. I'm an ex-professional footballer, having played for Paris Saint-Germain, Newcastle and Fulham.
Hi everyone, I'm Jenna Scalacci. I've just recently retired from captaining Tottenham women's football team. I'm now coaching girls from under 10s to under 15s.
Thanks, Matt. Please now talk us through your position.
Yes, thanks, Charlie. Mine is the red cross in the sort of centre of this cluster of three. There's two players in shot. The player in white on the right-hand side is in a very passive body position, and I just think is gazing up at the ball and doesn't appear to be challenging for it. Whether he thinks that the ball's just going to drop into him, I don't know. But as I said, he's in a very passive position. The player in front of him in orange has got two arms up, his forehead's furrowed, and I think he's looking straight up under the ball and is possibly trying to lean back and flick it on. And I've cross-referenced the two sets of eyes, or really two eyes plus their second eyes, and I've placed the centre of the ball where my red cross is.
Thanks, Matt. Hugh, can you now talk us through your position?
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, mine's the green cross. As Matt said, for me, the orange player is going to win the ball. I think he's going to win it with his head. He's looking up for me, slightly in front of him. But he's looking steeply up from how much of the white of his eyes we can see. The player on the right in white is just on looking for me. Doesn't look like he's challenging for the ball. And he's looking up relatively, not too steeply, based on the fact his head's tilted back and just looking where his eye line is. And where those two eye lines meet, that's where I place my green cross.
Thanks, Hugh. Andy, can you now talk us through your position?
Thanks, Charlie. Yes, I'm the blue cross. Again, I believe, yes, the guy in orange is about to either leap to head the ball or flick it on. Again, the guy behind him in white is on looking, but I feel that the guy in orange, his gaze, his eye line for me is slightly up, but obviously slightly to the left of the picture as we're looking. I've taken a fair deal from the guy in white behind, though, regarding, although he's on looking, he's looking dead centre of the ball, and that's why I've placed my blue cross regarding the cross of both of their eye lines.
Thanks, Andy. Kieran, can you now talk us through your position?
Yeah, thanks, Charlie. We've got two players in the foreground here, and the player in orange is focused on the ball. I think the player in white is also focused on the ball, but as my colleagues have said, it looks like the player in orange is going to play the ball. I think he's kind of twisting his body just to get into a position to be able to, as has been said, either head the ball or flick the ball on, but certainly play it with his head. He's looking almost straight up, but at a slight angle. The player in white behind him is not going to play the ball. I think he may be a little bit further back than the picture suggests. But I've taken a lot from the eye lines of both players, and that's why I've placed my cross where the orange cross is.
Thanks, Kieran. Alan, can you now talk us through your position?
Yeah, thanks, Charlie. My cross is the grey one. So yeah, as my colleague said, yeah, 2 players in the shots. I think the player in orange is going to head the ball. The ball is dropping towards him, and I think it looks like he's readjusting his body. Maybe he's misjudged the trajectory of the ball initially, and as you can see, he's twisted his body in order to face it and to head it properly. He's looking very steeply from what I see. We can see the white at the bottom of his eye. His head is tilted backwards. Playing white. I think even his head is tilted backwards. He's looking up. I thought maybe not as high as my colleague thought. Yeah, based on that, I decided that the ball, the center of the ball was where I put my cross.
Thanks, Alan. Jenna, can you now talk us through your position?
Hi all, I'm the purple cross. Mine was based on the eye line of the guy in the white shirt, and the fact that the guy in the orange, he looks like he's backtracking, readjusting his body positioning. So on that, I put mine the purple cross.
Judges, please now come to a final panel decision. For your reference, the larger white cross is the calculated average of the 6 individual selections.
Okay. Good morning again. I'll draw some lines in with the parameters. I think we've got quite a good view from this player, his eye, and it's a fairly narrow band really. That sort of cuts the top of Andy's and Jenna's.
Yeah.
And that's lower with Alain's. And this player in orange, we have got 2 pupils that we can see. So again, if I take, that's the steepest look, and that's the furthest left, again, just encompassing the left of Jenna's. I personally thought that this player was looking up, and I think we've got a really good view of his eye here. And personally, I thought it, obviously where I thought it, where my red cross is because we can't see any white on the top or the bottom of the pupil here. So I didn't think he was looking as steeply as, say, Andy's looking. And likewise, I didn't think he was looking as far left as Jenna's, just because of we've got two pupils looking up in that direction. I said this player in white for me is very passive looking. The view that we have from our choices is actually quite narrow. It's a bit wider with Alain's in. But anyway, Alain, looking at his this player eyes, you still convinced he's looking that low? That's if I'd magnify your choice with the ball.
Yeah, no, looking at it, in hindsight, I think I went, slightly too low. So I would be happy, to go a bit higher. So based on the play on the right-hand side, for me, the player in orange is looking quite steeply. So, just to summarize, I would be happy, to go a bit, higher. But I think the direction from the player in orange is quite, it's around where I put my cross.
Yeah, I think that's quite an important point, because if I remove you, it does go further to the left, which you don't want to go too far to the left. I mean, Jenna, we've gone to Alain's lowest, and now if you take your purple cross out here, and I highlighted it, we put the highlighter on for the basically as a match ball. I personally didn't think he was looking that far, but if you could sort of just expand on your thoughts, that would be great.
Yeah. No, after hearing all your feedback, actually, he isn't looking. He's looking a lot more steeper. So I would, if I could, bring it a lot further across.
Okay, well,
towards the orange.
Yeah, let's look and see what happens when we remove yours. It comes up into this line.
Yeah.
And if we remove Alain's as well, it sort of drops into a little bit to the right of my choice. I'm the sort of furthest left now. But Alan did have an important point, because it is a panel decision. This player, I think, looking at his eyes and looking how steeply there are, before I get to you, Andy, if I add another couple of lines in up from this eye with this sort of narrower choice, so to speak, that's a much narrower view. And then with the player in white, if I come across from his, that ends up being a quite a narrow segment, really. So Andy, you're a bit to the right, and I think you're the furthest over. But sort of expanding on what Alain said about this player looking. Any further thoughts?
Yes, I still believe, similar to what Alan said, that the guy is looking quite steep. I understand what you're saying about the pupils, but I feel that his body language, for me, is that it is dropping in there. So the guy in white, as we've all agreed, is passive. He's looking straight through the middle of that ball. But I just felt that the centre of the ball for me is roughly there or thereabouts where I've placed my blue cross.
Yeah. If I pop Alan back in, it just shifts it further down, which is obviously further. And in some senses, it brings it closer to Andy's, further away from mine. But it sort of, I suppose, it centralises it more. Kieran, you're the furthest now. You're the highest up.
Yeah. I mean, I just felt the player in white, if you put the magnifier over his eyes, there's white underneath the eye there, suggesting to me that he is looking a little bit higher. So I'm sort of on a line with Andy there, that height. But I understand the bit about the player in orange. Could you put the magnifier on his right eye, not that one, the other eye? Can we get anything from that eye? It's not clear, is it? You can't see.
No, you just get a pupil, but you don't see.
That's right. Yeah, you can't see anything. So, yeah, I mean, somewhere around that area, I think it's difficult to be. I can't argue strongly against that area.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was just going to finish. I don't know whether sort of leaving Alan out leaves that sort of balance between the two. So putting him in puts it a little bit further to the right. It's whether the rest of the panel think that that's, a good eye line from the player in orange. I think that's the one that we're sort of discussing, isn't it? The eye line from the player in orange.
Yeah. And Hugh, I mean, you're sort of almost sort of just below where this new average is.
Yeah. I mean, it depends for me which of the orange eyes you look at, because his left eye, I think, is looking up quite steeply, kind of where Alan had it. The other eye for me, and his sort of head position, is making us three clustered where we are. If you look at his other eye, I think that one's looking more on a kind of diagonal as opposed to horizontal.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
vertical, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we've removed Jenna, which brings it into the mix of our other choices. But if I add Alan back in, it brings it quite a long way to the right. I mean, we have scope, as we always have done, to choose a position that's more in line with our choices as opposed to the calculated average, because obviously Andy is further out, but we can't just keep removing choices. And I think we have to take on board what Alan said and Andy said about this player looking more steeply up. So what does anyone feel about, say, taking a choice of not the average in this situation, but to put it in a little bit over to the right to more encompass Andy's choice and also Alan's, although Alan's been removed. Again, if I just pop him back in, it comes quite a long way over and down. But we could just bring it slightly down and maybe to the right as a choice. And if I center that on the ball, and what is anyone's thoughts on that?
Can you show again the average with my cross in, please?
Yeah.
So basically, from there, what you're suggesting is, moving the cross, slightly to the right, or
no? If you're removed, well, there you could still see it here. If I take it off, is if we use the calculated average with you removed,
Yeah.
it goes up and higher. And what I'm suggesting, if we move it slightly down and to the right, it then encompasses Andy and your choice over to the right-hand side a bit more.
Okay. Okay. I see. Yeah.
Yeah, because if we leave you in, it just calculates the 5 averages, where this, I think the average here, for example, I mean, I'm not suggesting this is the correct place to put it, just about encompasses 4 of our choices left on the board.
Mm. Yeah, no, because, having me in basically would bring the average a bit lower.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying. So by, keeping me in and, moving the average slightly on the right-hand side, we would have the cross, slightly higher, but a bit more on the right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we keep you in, it basically gets in the middle of all of us. It's very close to Hugh's choice, but it's within the choices of yourself, Andy, myself, and Kieran. So, gentlemen, and Jenna, sorry. I suppose the vote, should we keep Alan in or out? To just say maybe a yes or a no. Hugh?
For me, Alan's is a little low, so I would say out.
Yeah. Andy?
I'm either way because, again, there's parts of what he said is in line with the way I'm looking from the Orange Man. So I'm either or, basically, with me.
I'm going to make you make a choice, yes or no?
Well, I'd say yes.
Keep him in. Kieran?
I think keep in. Could you just show him again with him in, please, for me? I think keep him in. I think the line is right, so I'm happy. It doesn't go too far down for me. I mean, but I'm going to say in.
Yeah, and Jenna?
I'd say keep him in.
Yeah, keep him in. You think it's a better trajectory on the eye line? I think it works, especially for the player in white. Okay, so if we're all happy, we'll judge at the average. That puts the choice onto the average. I'll highlight that again with Alan in. So if we're all happy, we'll submit judge at averaged with Alan still in, but Jenna's removed. We're all happy with that?
Yeah, happy.
Yep. Lovely. Thanks very much, Charlie. I think we've now decided.
Brilliant. Thanks, Matt. Please click submit. Thanks, judges. The coordinates selected are 1300631. These coordinates will now be passed to the auditing company assets to calculate the winner of the competition, and they will then inform BOTB. That concludes the judging process. Thank you.